Loken and I are back to talk about the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. Join the discussion by leaving a comment and let us know what your take would be. Spoiler warning, this video will cover chapter 307 of My Hero Academia. If you enjoy these videos, please help support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing to Texas Smash. Hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so that you can be sure to catch us every time a new chapter is released. Let's nerd out together. This week we welcome back Rose to Texas Smash. She also took in the time this week to color in one of the panels from chapter 307. We pick up this week with Shindo and Tatami, whose hero name is Turtleneck, and that's what I'll be calling her from now on, are on a mission to convince some reluctant civilians to move to the designated evacuation area. There have been reports of an escaped Tartarus prisoner in the area, but these people did not believe in the hero's ability to protect them and decided to defend themselves instead. Shindo tries a few different approaches to convince the reluctant group, from logical reasoning all the way to a cringy smile. Shindo and Turtleneck leave the building, having failed to convince anyone to come with them. Muscular suddenly arrives on the scene. Shindo stands his ground to face Muscular and tells Turtleneck to try one more time and convince the civilians to evacuate. So, first half of the chapter, city's destroyed. We get to see Shindo.
I was quite surprised to see Shindo this chapter. I wasn't expecting it at all. It was nice to see him, but at the same time, it's like, wow.
Well, he was number 9. I didn't.
On the popularity polls, yeah.
Right. I guess I never really thought about that until this chapter. Everyone's been talking about Horikoshi just brought Shindo back so that he could beat him up and lower him down the popularity polls. And then, yeah, Rose, you were talking about Turtleneck and Shindo being in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of saw it, like, when they were introduced, like, it was like she was, like, clinging onto him a bit. And, like, she like, never really left his side that much. And it was like, And then I read the wiki and I was like, oh, yeah, they are a couple. Okay, cool.
And did you say that was confirmed on the wiki, or was it a...
Yeah, it's on the wiki.
Okay.
And I think it was vaguely mentioned in the anime as well, and in the manga, I think.
But it's actually...
Horikoshi also said that they were a couple as well.
Okay. Huh. I know that Shindo's hero name, Grand, that was information obtained through the Ultra Analysis book. So
yeah. I like how because I think when I was on Twitter and it was like people were seeing I forgot what the girl's name is. Is it Nakagame? Tatami Nakagame, right? I think, I don't know.
I'm just saying Turtleneck because it's easier.
Yeah, because when they saw her hero name as Turtleneck, they were like, you had one chance in the world to pick a great name and you chose Turtleneck.
That's what Genist hero name should have been.
Turtleneck. Yeah.
From the last chapter, for sure.
But yeah, not a whole lot going up to the point where Shindo tells Turtleneck to go save the civilians. Aside from the obvious Muscular's arrival, the two panels I wanted to call out. One, when Shindo was smiling and Turtleneck girl was cringing behind him. I thought that was a good panel. And my second panel I wanted to bring up, I don't know which one was my favorite, so I don't even want to say second favorite. But the second panel that I want to mention was the one where Muscular's sliding down and he says, "Hey guys, let's have some fun," on the side of the building. They did Muscular justice there for sure. I could just almost hear him saying that.
That panel right under there. Is it just the two of you? What a shame. Don't you have any more friends? Like, he's just ready. He's gotten out of Tartarus and he's ready to do some damage. But it is pretty cool to see him. I thought it was interesting as well. The fact that we have these heroes, and not only that, but the ones that they're talking to on the phone and even their sensei. It's the Hero Society really has broken down, that it seems that they're so desperate that they even had to call upon these heroes or the students from that school to even help out. I just thought that was really interesting.
Turtleneck fails to convince the civilians to evacuate despite the ignited urgency in her tone. She then looks outside to see Shindo getting wrecked by Muscular despite his tremor attacks. Shindo uses what I presume to be his ultimate move considering the desperation he was in at the time. This still had no effect on Muscular. And then Muscular just kills him. It was really very shocking to see Horikoshi go so dark with this one. Just kidding, Deku arrived in the nick of time, lands a quick smash on Muscular, and snags Shindo thanks to the increased control over his latest quirk, Danger Sense. Muscular hears Deku speak as he is piecing together what just happened. The chapter closes with Muscular saying, "That voice, could it be?" Get your popcorn ready. Deku versus Muscular round 2 next week. Like I was saying, I feel like Horikoshi wanted to. I don't think he liked how Shindo was number 9 on the popularity polls, because I don't know if he's going to look so pretty anymore after this fight.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think the other thing that I found really sad was when the leader of the civilians like pushed Turtleneck out of the way, and it was like, "Oh, we're not going to listen to it." And it's like, she's trying to help. Like, why you got to be such pains? I think it's like,
I mean, that trust is no
yeah, I
longer
think it's like when
there.
they saw Shindo getting beaten up. I think the guy that led the civilians looked shocked and was like, "Oh my god." They're trying to like
Hmm.
protect us, and we just shoved him away. It's like, I hope that over time people bounce back and they're like, okay, we'll trust you again, but like you've got to atone for the mistakes you've done in the past or something. Like, it can't just stay broken forever. Like some things have to change eventually, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So also, this does debunk everybody thinking that Deku had left Japan from the last chapter.
Yeah. I think a lot
So,
of people are annoyed about that because they really wanted him to be in America, but
I mean, it was definitely implied heavily by Horikoshi,
yeah.
but
I like how Deku came in and he just landed and he was like, "Oh, I was wondering why my danger sense was going haywire," and it was like, "That's so cool."
So do you think this
Uh,
fight could give us some examples of, since this is the first time that Deku's got at least some grasp on danger sense,
yeah,
do you think this fight could highlight the negative effects of it,
yeah,
like as this fight
I
goes
hope
on?
so. Yeah, I think that's probably why he looked so miserable in the last panel of the last chapter. Maybe it's because danger sense was going off and it was like hurting his head or
Mm.
something, and he was just there like, "Oh, I need to get this over with so it can go away and I can be fine again." Because didn't he, when he activated it in the fight, wasn't it that he said that he couldn't keep consciousness because of how painful the quirk was on his brain or something?
Oh, yeah, that's a good callback. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's like probably when danger sense goes off, he gets a really big headache, and it's just like, oh boy, where is this villain? I need to like take him down.
We also have, this is a time skip from just even a month, so I feel like he does have a better handle on the quirk already,
Yeah.
though. It
For sure.
seems like so. It'll be interesting to see if he's in this time, if he's gotten, better. I would imagine that he would have gotten a better at, even float,
Mm.
because it looks like he is jumping down and smashing in, coming in, but that would be cool if he's already got float down and he's got danger sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Interesting.
like nobody thinks that Muscular is going to beat Deku, but this fight is serving a lot of purposes because, to your point, Loken, this is the first time we're going to see Deku actually have somewhat of a control over danger sense. And that's kind of always how it goes. He learned Black Whip, didn't know how to control it. Then he demonstrated it that he had learned control. Then he
Yeah.
got float, didn't know how to
Right.
control it. Then he demonstrated that he could control float. He got danger sense in the war arc, didn't know how to control it. Now we see him demonstrating that he's got it. So that paves the way to the sixth court finally. What's the word? Uh, can't think of the word. Appearing, manifesting. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I think the sixth quirk is on the way. This will be our first example of Deku with danger sense using it. Um, And also, he has his hood on. I looked it up because I was curious. 2 times in the past. Once when he fought Bakugo, in the training exam when they first got into UA,
Yeah.
and then the only other time Lemillion forced it on him, uh, Deku didn't even do it himself. Lemillion, like, drug it over his head, so,
Yeah.
and that was whenever he was trying to cover up his face so Overhaul couldn't see him, but
Yeah.
Deku having his mask on is not something that we have seen.
Yeah. He looks really cool with his mask on. Looks so ominous.
But the damage to his hero outfit
Yeah.
looks pretty intense. So it seems like he's going through a lot right now. And I just, speaking of the quirk for the one or the guy's quirk that we don't know about, the 6th user, his name being Smoke, if you look at, almost the second to last panel or second and third, you, it kind of, at first I thought that was just dust and debris,
Yeah.
but the way that it's going around him, it doesn't. And maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but it doesn't look like that's the normal, like, debris would be circling around him like
Yeah.
that. It looks almost like smoke.
Mm.
So with it time too, he has already been able to access, and he's using the quirk even now. Or it could just be debris. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, that's possible.
That'd be cool though.
He-
It'd be cool if he's already able to use that as well.
Yeah.
I see the panel you're talking about, and yeah, you have a point. That's a very real chance for sure, but it could also be debris, yeah, so I'm kind of with you. I'm on the fence there. I can
Yeah.
see it, but I don't know
Mhm.
if I believe it, but I could see
Right.
that possibly being his quirk.
Yeah. I hope we get a flashback soon of what drove Deku to like go off on his own. Because I'm so curious about his train of mind of like why he decided that.
Rose, true or false? Is Deku following orders from the Hero Commission right now? Like, is Deku a vigilante at this point in time?
Uh, Possibly. He definitely looks the part anyway.
Right. Logan and I were talking about that right before we all jumped on, and I don't know. I think he might be. I mean, it's not confirmed. We don't know the details of what happened in that month time skip, um, but I just don't really see the Hero Commission sending Deku out to do hero work when they know that he has the key to basically the most
Yeah.
powerful weapon that the good guys have. Why would you risk that unless you had to? You know.
Yeah. Unless Deku's train of thought was leave UA, do some training in like a random forest somewhere, and just whenever he sees a villain, just like fight it to like train more or something. Also,
That's what I was thinking. That, well, roughly, that he's not a vigilante. The Hero Commission, like the top people and All Might, they're like, be safe, but yeah, he's got to train. And to me, he's got the license or whatever he needed. He's gotten the permission from the Hero
yeah,
Commission to say, hey, you can be active, but just, try to stay in hiding. Because that's what, I mean, we're all thinking he's got to be in hiding away from All for
yeah,
One. And to me, there's no way that he would just be out and doing vigilante stuff. I think he would follow the law and still want to, have that
yeah,
permission. But on the flip side, the hero in him can't not let anyone be saved.
yeah,
So, and that's Kronos' point. And I was like, all right, I can see that. But for me, I just think that they do know what he's doing.
yeah. Another thing I noticed in this chapter was that Shindo and Turtleneck were both third years now. So I'm like, oh, so does that mean that Class 1A is now Class
Right.
2A now?
Yes.
That's quite interesting. Nice. Their first year without Deku. That's something else that reminded me of because it's time skip to April and like Bakugo's birthday's in April or something. I think I remember someone being like, "Oh, Bakugo has to spend his birthday like worrying about Deku or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh, oh well." Deku's turn to make Bakugo suffer, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We just don't know at this point. But I
Yeah.
do. I mean, I do think he might be doing. Which I think by definition he is a vigilante because
Mm,
he did not get orders, even though he's doing good things. I mean, Koichi's a good person, right? But he doesn't have the orders to go pursue villains and um. But yeah, Loken already beat me to it. I just think Deku. Whenever we were talking about this, I quoted very first episode what All Might told Deku: "A hero moves. A hero is someone whose body moves before he has a chance to think."
yeah.
So I think that's what's going on here. Is nobody wants Deku in the fight. It's just he can't help himself.
Yeah.
So I think he's removed himself from everyone around him, and he's flying solo right now, which is vigilante.
Yeah. I really want to see
Um,
Bakugo and Todoroki's reactions to the letters that he wrote. Like, I thought we were going to see that this chapter, but oh well.
yeah.
I still think that Bakugo and Shoto are with Deku.
Yeah.
They're not at school. I don't think they're at school because if they were, I feel like they would have been in that room. And if they are at school, I'm sure. I guess we will see them eventually in there. But I would have figured they would have been in the last chapter at school right then in that moment with all the rest of the students.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people you got Bakugo, Shoto, and then a lot of people still wondering about um mm, the name escapes me. Is it Sun Eater? Sun Eater that we don't know about, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him. Uh, but yeah, the only other thing that I wanted to make sure and bring up was just talking about since Muscular is probably going to be the next chapter or two. The first time Deku fought Muscular, he didn't actually use it. It doesn't take 1,000,000% of One for All to beat Muscular. Let's see. From the My Hero Wiki, Izuku does not claim that he's using One for All at 1,000,000%. It's only the fighting spirit of Izuku's way to shout his feelings towards this unusual strength in an emergency.
Yeah.
So, in layman's terms, he's pumping himself up. It's not a literal, hey, this is 1,000,000% of One for All. So
Mm.
Muscular's real strong and underrated, but it doesn't take 1,000,000% of One for All to beat Muscular. So a lot of people were confused by that. Even when the anime happened, when it happened in the manga, uh, so I just kind of wanted to add that in there since Muscular seems like he might be relevant for the next few weeks.
It's nice to see Muscular again.
Yeah, for real.
Muscular and Deku rematch. Let's go.
Nice.
Am I the only one that's excited about Moonfish? I feel like I'm Moonfish's biggest fan.
I'm just excited for this fight too, to see Muscular and Deku like finishing the forest arc, circling back. Again, Deku steps in to save somebody, and Muscular, man, his face, he really does love to beat people up.
Mm.
He's an awesome villain. I like him, but yeah, I'm with you too, Chrono. So Moonfish got shorted. We barely got to see what he could really
Mm.
do. So I think we're gonna get a lot more of him. And the only other villain I really want to know about is the new lady
Yeah.
from Tartarus that we know nothing
Yeah.
about. So hopefully these next chapters we are gonna get more and more villains and see to what's gonna happen and know more about them.
Mm.
I almost didn't say this, and I wanted to make sure that I brought this point up, but the way this chapter is going, I think I got it figured out on this one. With what's happening, the way Deku's holding Shindo right now, the way this chapter is setting things up, no, myself included, no one thinks Muscular is going to beat Deku. I think Muscular is there just to showcase how much Deku has grown. So
Yeah.
what I can see happening is Deku mopping the floor with Muscular to show how far he's come, but not just that. Think about all the civilians that are like in a couple buildings behind them. Because they
Yeah.
even made a point, like it was when he was fighting Shindo, but Muscular was like, "A hero is usually right by the civilians he's protecting," or he said something like that.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is, that video that Deku, when he was a kid, he was all obsessed watching All Might save all those people, like pulling them out of the rubble.
Yeah.
You know the video I'm talking about? Deku is
yeah.
like when he was a little kid and it was All Might just bringing civilians out of the rubble. He had like people hanging on his shoulders and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, this is Deku's version of that. And I think we could get the first I am here from Deku in the next few chapters.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a recreation of that scene, honestly.
Yeah.
Deku just saving a ton of people, beat up a major villain, and then he says, I am here.
Yeah.
So his crowning moment of him being the symbol of peace is him as a vigilante.
Well, he won't be a vigilante once he has his own hero agency, which shouldn't be too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
No, that would be awesome. That would be awesome to see him and then raise his fist up for sure.
but I think a big thing you're talking about vigilante versus pro crowning moment. But one of the themes of My Hero, I feel like, is it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not I'm a hero, I'm a villain, I'm a vigilante, I'm a cop, whatever. It's the way you carry yourself, and you know that Deku's as pure as they come. So you
Yeah.
could call him a vigilante, but no one doubts his moral compass. That's for sure. So
Yeah, agreed there. And maybe this is what helps society get back is him showing that there is a different way, and he's the true hero who's going to sacrifice everything to make sure people are saved. And that's when society is finally putting their trust back into the heroes.
Yeah.
and now more than ever, society needs something like that. I mean, it's in
Agreed. Yeah.
shambles. So,
Yep.
but
Gave me goosebumps.
I like it. I'm a believer
Nice.
in this one.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get these thoughts and I'm like, that might happen, maybe. But I do like this one. I'm pretty confident in this one. I think this is Deku's All Might moment.
After the fight, like Deku like takes his mask off and turns around to the civilians and is like, "Listen, these are trying to get you to safety, so listen to them for once and like like follow them." Because I mean, if I was like in the civilian shoes and I didn't trust them, I'd still follow them to like what they say is safety, but I just wouldn't like trust them wholeheartedly. Like, if you get what I mean.
That makes sense.
Like I'd follow them to like safety because being at like a school place is probably better than being out in the open where villains can attack at any time. But also, if you're at a school and whatever, then there's going to be a bunch of pro heroes around because school.
No, that makes sense that, at first I feel like they didn't really grasp how dangerous it really
Yeah.
was. But like you said earlier, one of the civilians his face was like, oh crap, this guy is bad, and really finally got scared. And then they see Deku show up and then beat him. They're like, oh, okay, all right, maybe we'll swallow our pride and listen to the heroes now.
The only
I can see that, but I think towards Kronos's, theory that there are still civilians in the building. So yeah, maybe from the fight and Muscular in the ground, maybe the building does crumble, and that's when Deku has to stop Muscular, go in and save the remaining civilians, and like bring them out. And that's just a replay of what All Might did when Deku was a kid.
Yeah.
That would all add up. It makes sense.
Yeah, the only difference in My Hero Society versus normal, aside from fiction versus reality, these civilians, they got a quirk. That's the thing with My Hero. Like, if it was real life and there was a major bad guy that was just lighting up everybody he saw, you would not think you could do anything there. That's a normal thought to have. But if it's in My Hero Society, where you're the you are today, but you also were born with some random quirk, and it might be a pretty good one. You might be a little more, I don't want to say arrogant, but yeah, basically arrogant to think, oh, I can handle it. I can shoot fire, or, whatever. Like, I can do it. So I feel like because of the quirk society, it only amplifies how much the civilians think that they could do a better job.
Yeah.
But
And we don't have a break next week, right?
no
Yeah.
break next week. Horikoshi's
Bad
all right.
man.
he's a madman. So yeah.
He's pumping them out. That's awesome.
And from the time of making this video, less than 24 hours till episode 1 of season 5.
I
So
know,
that'll be
right?
cool.
Really good.
We'll see you guys next week to talk about chapter 308. Everyone enjoy season 5 premiere tomorrow. Also keep an eye out for My Hero Madness finale coming out Sunday.